Okay, so that wraps up our stop in Murfreesboro, whatever. I feel like I'm butchering it no matter what I say, so we're just gonna go with it. So now we're off to find a really big waterfall. I'm hoping it's a lot bigger than the one we saw yesterday because it's in a state park and the pictures look gorgeous. So I am excited, and the coffee's starting to kick in, which is even more helpful. We have about 2 miles under our belt. It's around lunchtime. We have 80 miles to go. So here we go. Along the way, I found Cedars of Lebanon State Park, and I have no idea what to expect of this, so this is going to be the grand reveal for the first time. I haven't seen any information, so we're gonna check it out and see what's down here, and then yeah, it's already looking very interesting. Welcome! We parked, and as soon as we parked, found a trail. It's a half-mile loop trail, so I'm gonna go check it out. And they have butterfly signs, which means that I'm probably gonna see lots of butterflies like I have at all the other places here in Tennessee. And we start off with this information kiosk. So let's read a little bit, and then we're gonna hike down the trail and stop off last in the visitor center. Little fact about the trail, even though it's called a cedar trail, these are actually junipers. So they're not true cedars, but there's a reason. But this trail is pretty nice. It feels great outside. Wouldn't it be cool if people got as excited about coming out to places like this as they do going to the club? I mean, it's like Club Forest. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand why people can't be as excited about actually doing things as they are about pretending and turning up and stuff like that. Because to me, no offense to my friends who work in that industry, but this is way more cool in the long run because you get this great knowledge that comes with it, and you get some great exercise. So yeah, Club Forest, here we are in the forest. Oh yeah. So this area used to actually, before it was a really well-known state park, was basically a wasteland. Meaning that people couldn't grow crops here. They didn't see it as serving any kind of purpose because of the forest, so they literally made it into kind of a dump. Someone wanted to save the cedar population and juniper population, and so they took into action basically, and in doing so made this where it could be accessible to everyone and is a pretty substantially nice state park. So I went into the visitor center like I always do and picked up some literature, and there's something that I really want to check out at this park. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but they have a cave. That's right, a cave. They have a butterfly garden and cave, and they also have a nature center. The nature center is not open today because they have a special event going on, but I think I can keep myself pretty busy with the other two. So I've been told that we just pass the visitor center, keep going, and stay to the right. So let's go. Now, I picked up a map whenever I was at the visitor center, and she told me to come to this area right here, which is where the cave is. So there's a little trail down to the cave area. She said it's pretty short, so we're not going to be walking extremely long. There's a little bit of a decline. Oop! That we're gonna have to be careful on. I do like that this state park has a very well-maintained path. They use these cedar chips, which absorbs a lot of the water, so whenever it does rain, you're not sloshing around in the mud like you are at some places. So we made it. Yep, it was a really short walk and pretty nice, easy, gradual way to get down here. Now, you can't go into the cave without a permit. They just need to know that you went in, basically. So we're standing at the mouth of the cave right now, and gonna get a better view of it from down here in the creek bed. Now, this is pretty intense. They said that there's a lake at the back of this thing. So if you're willing to crawl through the muck, you can actually get in there and see a chamber room that has a big lake. So, I don't know. Might be worth it sometime. Can't go again without a permit though. So, imagine that would be a really cool adventure. Now, that's one of those things that I wouldn't want to take on when I'm by myself. I would definitely want to have somebody with me, just because obviously when you're crawling around in a place that you're not necessarily supposed to be, there's a lot of dangers that can come with that. So as a responsible, safe traveler, I'm opting out of the cave today. But still, it was a really neat thing to come and see. And getting to walk in this creek bed, you find all of these little routes up and down. So that's kind of neat in itself. So we're gonna go up and check out the butterfly garden. Okay, it looks like it's right down this path. So we're going to follow the path to the butterflies and see what we can find. This pergola makes for a perfect place to just sit back and watch the butterflies. There have got to be hundreds of them out here, and they are so fast, but they are so beautiful. And it's everything from these little tiny ones to these massive ones with huge wings. It's a perfect, serene little place to sit in Tennessee. I really like it here. It's very quiet, despite being a park that's pretty busy. So the really neat thing about this area is all the plants that are put in this area are to attract and help the butterflies thrive. So you have these beautiful bright colored flowers scattered throughout, along with other vegetation that helps them to camouflage or to feed or do all of these things. So this entire area is dedicated just to butterflies, which is pretty phenomenal because they're absolutely beautiful. Now, moving across from where you will find the butterflies right over here was this really strange tower. So I had to come and check it out. And it's not a tower, actually. It is a nesting area for something called a chimney swift, which I had never heard of before. But it is a cigar-shaped bird that apparently flies over 10,000 miles per year. It usually doesn't post up very often, but whenever it does, it creates its nest by clawing into a surface that looks like a chimney. So they've created this so that they can have a safe area in this area to create their nests. It's a pretty neat concept, and it is a beautiful area for people to come out and watch the birding, where there is a huge field that has a lot of other birds in it as well. So this state park has a little bit of everything, it looks like. Really. everything. I stopped in at the campground shop to get a postcard, and they stamped my Tennessee passport. Now again, not every state has a passport, but Tennessee has one, and they actually issued them for their 75th anniversary. So it was a pretty cool thing that I got one of those in the first place. Even more cool that I've gotten a couple stamps on it now. I think I'm gonna check out this campground because I'm considering staying here whenever I come back through because it's very nice. It looks like it's very popular and sites are only about $25. So it's always good to have that information for whenever you come back through a location so you know where you might want to stay. So let's drive around a little bit. So yeah, if I come back through this area, I am staying here because look at this pool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to zoom in. It's hard to see it, but this is an Olympic-sized swimming pool and it's open on weekends. So even though I like to not try to be in a packed place on a weekend, this place could be popping. So $25 a night gets you these kind of amenities. There's also a riding stable, and up at the park they have a full baseball and soccer area too. So that's kind of insane amount of amenities for $25. Now just in comparison, I've gone a lot of different places, and the closest thing that I've found to amenities like this are at one of the KOA campgrounds. It's about $30, and they have a pool and some of the amenities like this. But the pool was a lot smaller. It wasn't Olympic sized. And nothing against the KOA, because the KOA and I are BFFs when it comes to certain cities. But wow, this is a state park. Along the way, I found a dam, and I wanted to stop off because they have these trading cards that you can get at the dams of all of the different dams in this area. So I wanted to see if they had them here. But look at this. This is crazy how close you can get to it. And look at that water that's coming out so aggressively. So I'm gonna get a couple pictures and then check into this office and see if they have the cards. I'm not sure though, because this isn't a visitor center, so it may not. It's the resource manager's office. Won't hurt to ask. Have these signs that kind of give you a warning that the spillway's open right now, so that way you don't get caught up in the waters if they do have flooding or anything like that. So that's kind of good. It's really interesting. And this place over here, it looks like it has like a boat dock, like a ramp. I don't know, just interesting things that you find around this area. There's also a campground over here, a play place, and then an area that you can go and just have like a picnic. So that's kind of neat. And then of course, the bread and butter of anything that has to do with the dam is the grid. Look at all that right there. Now this dam is so small in comparison to like the Hoover Dam, things like that, but you know, it controls a major waterway still just the same. This is a lot of water that courses through this thing. Let's go in here and find out if we can get those cards. Well, we tried, we failed, we're moving on.
They left onto Wolf Creek Road.
See, we're moving on. This visitor center at the state park that I stopped off with is Edgar Evans. And they have probably the coolest visitor center because as you can see, I'm going up, 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 up. This is an observation tower in the middle of the visitor center. So it's pretty cool. It's about closing time. They close at 4, but the lady was nice enough to let me come on up so I could get a view from the top. Yay! Right there is the dam that we were just at. It's pretty awesome. You can actually utilize this lake at the park here. So really, really close. And although it's a lot of stairs, look how tall we are. We have great views. I can only imagine, especially during fall, this being gorgeous to look out. This thing does rock a little bit. So when you're standing over closer to the edge, you feel it doing this just a little bit. Nothing too bad. Just enough to make you a little uneasy though if you have a fear of heights. So maybe not for those people. Like all good things that must come to an end, time to go way back down there. Yeah, that was a long, long distance. So let's go down in fast speed. Another great stop at another great state park and another stamp in my book. This place is cool because it offers a lot of things that some of the others don't, because it does have the water use. I was just talking to the lady inside who was super awesome, really informative, and let me know a little bit more about the park. They do have a great camping site here and tons of trails. So again, this is gonna go on the list. So I made it to Cummings Falls, and the park here closes at 6, but there's a fork at the trail, so you can take either the upper part or the lower part. The lower part you can actually get in the water. The upper part you can only see it from above and take pictures. I can't go to the lower part because it's 5 o'clock and that stops. So we're going to the upper part to take some pictures. Good news about going to the overlook as opposed to down at the bottom is I couldn't find my water shoes, and I don't like to go in anything without water shoes. Nope. I had this really bad incident whenever I was little where I cut my foot in a lake, and since then I don't really like to have my feet exposed in water that's not completely clear. So we're over to the onlook. It's so loud. I'm so excited. I can't wait. This was suggested to me by a really good friend. I had already seen it, but when he suggested it, I knew I had to come. So thank you, Chris Brewer. Thank you, my Tennessee person. My goodness, so worth it. I am so glad that I came here because this waterfall is one of the most legit waterfalls that I've seen on my travels. So, wow. I just want to sit back and watch it for a little bit. I'm so excited. Now I think that is the perfect backdrop for today's conclusion. I'm so happy we made it out here, and I guess that's it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow on another adventure. But let's get one more look at that waterfall. Watch this. Got lost. There are like 4 turns. I don't know how I did that. I literally went down 3 of the 4 turns before I got to the right path. Maybe we could give us a sign or something? A sign would be great.